All right, so today we're going to dive into a new platform called WealthWise. Now, this thing was built to tackle a huge, and I mean huge, global problem, one that's often totally invisible. But, before we can really appreciate the solution, we've got to get our heads around just how massive this problem actually is. Let's just start with a number: $1 trillion. That's not the total, that's the estimated annual cost of poor financial decisions around the world. I mean, it's a number so big it's almost impossible to wrap your head around, right? And it hits everything: families, entire economies, and of course, our own individual futures.
So that leads to the trillion-dollar question. Literally, where is all that money going? And look, this isn't just about a few people making bad stock picks. It's pointing to something way bigger, a systemic issue that's been hiding in plain sight for way too long. And that right there brings us to the real heart of it all: financial illiteracy. Now, it's really important to get this straight. We're not talking about some kind of personal failing. This is a full-blown, widespread crisis, and we've got the data to prove it. And when I say widespread, I mean global. Get this: the World Bank estimates that 1 out of every 3 adults on the entire planet is financially illiterate. Think about that for a second. That's a third of the world's population trying to get by without understanding the absolute basics of money. And okay, this isn't some abstract, high-level problem. This next number brings it right home: 56%. That's the percentage of adults who can't cover a simple $1,000 emergency. A car repair, a sudden medical bill. For more than half the population, something like that isn't an inconvenience. It's a potential financial meltdown.
And if you think that's concerning, it gets even clearer when we look at the younger generations. Check this out. Among millennials, only 24% show they have even basic financial knowledge. Wow. That means 3/4 of a whole generation are walking into their prime earning years basically flying blind, without the tools they absolutely need to build a future. Okay, so with a problem this big, this widespread, what's the answer? Well, that's where WealthWise comes in. It's a platform built from the ground up to be a direct response to the crisis we've just been talking about. For way too long, if you wanted help with your finances, the tools were expensive, super complicated, and usually locked to just one country or region. WealthWise just completely flips that script. Its whole approach is simple, but it's really powerful. Make it free, make it fun using gamification, and make it accessible to literally everyone on the planet, right from day one.
And these are the principles that are driving that whole mission. It's completely free. You don't need to sign up for anything. It's open to anybody. It works everywhere on any device. And crucially, it's totally private. The goal here is just crystal clear: tear down every single barrier that has ever stood between a person and a good financial education.
All right, so what does this thing actually do? Let's take a quick tour of the key features, and let's look at it from the perspective of someone actually using it. First up is the Smarts Budget Planner. Now, this is cool. It does more than just track where your money goes. It actively guides you using that classic 50-30-20 rule, that simple framework for balancing your needs, wants, and savings. As you plug in your numbers, it gives you real-time feedback and even some AI-driven insights to help you build those healthy habits.
Next, there's the Investment Simulator. This is where the magic of compounding really comes to life. You can set a goal, play around with the inputs, like your monthly investment, expected return, the timeline, and the tool just maps it all out. It shows you exactly how your money could grow, turning this abstract idea into something you can actually see and plan for. But let's be real. How do you make learning about finance, fun? Well, that's where the gamified quiz comes in. It tests what you know with questions that get tougher as you go, and you get to climb the ranks from a rookie all the way up to a FinIQ master. And the best part? It gives you detailed explanations for every single answer, so you're actually learning, not just guessing. And maybe the most unique feature is what they call the Financial Health Score. The platform looks at everything you do: your budgeting, your quiz scores, your simulations, and boils it all down into one single, easy-to-understand number. It's just a super simple way to see exactly where you're at and where you need to focus. Okay, so we've seen the core features, and yeah, they're pretty impressive. But what really sets this thing apart from everything else out there? Let's dig into a couple of the key innovations that make WealthWise truly different. Check this out. It's a simple idea, but it's brilliant. Most investment calculators work forward, right? They ask, how much will I have? This one also works backward. You start with your goal,
Let's say you want to save $1 million, and it tells you exactly what you need to invest each month to get there. It answers the question that's actually on your mind. This next part is just so clever. Live AI advisors are super expensive to run because of all the server costs, and that cost usually gets passed on to you, the user. WealthWise completely bypasses that. They built a smart, preloaded system that gives you expert answers on over 40 key financial topics, but with zero ongoing costs. This is the secret sauce that lets it scale to the whole world and stay free forever. And this really gets to the core philosophy of the whole thing. This platform wasn't just built for, say, the US and then kind of adapted for other places. Nope, it was designed to be global from the absolute get-go. It supports 12 major currencies right out of the box, so all the tools, all the examples, they feel local and relevant to you no matter where you are in the world. So finally, let's just zoom out for a second. Because this platform, it's really more than just a collection of cool tools. It's about the bigger picture. It's about the potential for a truly massive global impact. And you can really think about the impact in two ways. Right now, the immediate impact is huge: free, private, accessible education in 12 countries. But the long-term potential is even bigger. We're talking about scaling to millions of users, becoming an app you can install, and even partnering with schools and universities to get financial literacy built right into the curriculum. Imagine that. And ultimately, it all comes back to this one idea. It's a mission statement that directly takes on that 1 in 3 statistic we started with. You see, the goal here isn't just to build another app. It's to actually help solve a fundamental global problem, one person at a time. So after looking at this huge problem and seeing a potential solution like this, it really all boils down to one final question. For all of us, with tools like this that remove pretty much every barrier, what if your financial future was finally and truly in your hands?